What's up, guys? So as the title says, I have an announcement and a drone build to do. So I've been flying a gravity loss frame, gravity loss Pro 2 carbon this one is, which is also, as it says on there, GRL. And this frame's absolutely awesome. You know, the arms do not move. There's no twist in the arms, so it absolutely flies amazing. So that brings me on to the announcement, and the announcement is that Gravity Loss are going to take me on as their sponsor team pilot. So that is absolutely awesome for me. They've sent me a frame to build, so that's what the drone build's going to be. It's a carbon fibre Pro 2. They've also sent me a titanium bottom plate and a titanium kit, so I can build the titanium version 2, and also a lowrider, so I can build the lowrider version. So I'm going to build all three versions, so you can see the difference. So the guys have gone one step further, and what they've actually done is machine my name into the bottom of the titanium plate. So have a look at that. Look, Mark Baker FPV in the bottom of the titanium plate. That's amazing. So I've already got one of these. I'm really honoured to be part of the team. Let's build a second one. Let's put it together. Okay, so this is the box. Let's get this box opened. GRL. We've got instructions. We'll have a look at those in a bit. I'm sure everybody can follow those. Get arms, screws. Let's get it all out. Mid plate, bottom plate, top plate. Oh, this is a bumper. I'm not sure if this bumper comes with it or not. That's the bumper. These screws and a sticky pad. Oh, and I think these might have been sent separately. These are like go on the end of the arms to protect them, but I've been using TPU for mine. They work quite well. Okay, let's put that box to one side. I suppose we get some of these bits unpacked. Right, okay, so I've got everything laid out here now, all unboxed. I've laid out the mid plate, the bottom plate, top plate, two side plates for the camera. We've got the four arms, these 8 little bits that protect the nuts, or the bolts rather. We've got the 16mm bolts, we've got 20mm bolts, we've got 6mm bolts, we've got 8mm bolts here, and then these are the stack screws. A bit of sticky padding and this little bit that goes in behind the cam plate for protection and strengthening it. Okay, let's put this thing together. So we start with the mid plate, and you can see on the mid plate that it's got these little countersunk holes. So what we want to do is we want to put the stack screws through the countersunk like that, and also we've got these little bits here. These little tiny bits like this. These have got a little shoulder on them. Focus just here, and that shoulder goes into the hole just on the inside hole like that, so it fits in there nicely, and that's where the screw passes through into that other hole. So we screw that through like that. So let's get all four of those put together. Okay, so all four of those are on now. Something to bear in mind that these are your stack screws. So if you've got like a maybe an all-in-one ball or something like that, and you don't want the stack to be so high, you might want to get some different screws. I've actually got these little 12mm screws that I run in my setup because I use a KISS flight controller. Should we get it to focus? It's just shorter. Okay, so the next thing you're going to be wanting to do is, this is my recommendation, is taking all these little bolt protectors and take your bolts and pass them through there like so. So these are like protectors, so these go through the bottom plate and they're going to touch the floor, so they're a nice little touch that protects the nuts from getting scrapes, and then obviously you can unwind them and change them out easier. So I would get all those done. I'm going to place them right there. I'm going to get all 8 of those put together. Okay, so that's the 8 bolts all lined up across there. Let's put that one there because they're the 4 longest, which are 20mm. They're the 4 ones which are 16mm. Now, next thing will be the arms. I just want to touch on these arms. This is a front left arm. The arms have got like a little recess here for your motor to go. So the motor goes this side, and that's the back side of it. Just quickly about these arms. These arms are really strong and durable. They're like a tubular design, so they've got like a seam. You can see that, it's like a seam that goes through there. So from what I'm aware, is the carbon fibre is woven like this over the arm and makes up like a tubular design. So they're really strong. You know, this is probably the best selling point about the frame, the fact that these arms are pretty much indestructible. I'm pretty sure they come with a lifetime guarantee as well. That's how confident Gravity Loss are about these arms. So have a look at Gravity Loss website. I'll put a link in the description and have a look at that anyway. It'll tell you more information about the arms, but we'll just get the build done for now. So let's take the mid plate as next, and that's this one here. And then we're going to take the bottom plate. It's got GRL written in the bottom there, so you want to be putting that one obviously with the name down. And then we're going to lay that down on the floor. This is the best way I found to do it. Lay that down, take the carbon fibre side plates and place them into the bottom plate like so. So they just rest there, and then you need to take the mid plate and slide it with these slots into the bottom plate, and then that slides in and keys them all together. If I can get that in, there we go. And then the motor part that side, and just slide it through so the holes line up, and then pinch it. You're just pinching it where the hole lines up there, and I'm going to pass the shorter screw through the arm like so, and that screws that into the mid plate. Once you've got one in there, it gives it a bit more strength to hold it together. The other arm's in, but as I say, you just got to make sure they're the right way round. So that will be the other front one. Pinch that there, another screw. So I'll carry on and get these 4 arms all wound up and together. Okay, so I've got all the 4 arms on. Now I actually put these little ones here in the front to start off, as I was feeding the middle ones in, just to sort of line it up. So they're just screwed in a little bit at the moment. They're not actually right in. So the next thing will be to get the upstands on. I'm going to tell you a couple of specifications about the drone first of all. I measured from the side plates from side to side, and that's 22mm. Across the front, I've measured the upstands, they are 32mm, and on the very back is a 24mm. So that gives you an idea of what you can get in the back part. I'm going to be using a Calyx Vista. I printed this one, but they did supply me with a black one, which is designed for the Calyx Vista. Comes with a Calyx antenna part. So I'll just show you how the aerial goes into the mount on that one. You see like that. So that's well protected in there. Bit of a bumper as well. So that's perfect. So yeah, let's get the upstands on. So what we've got is we have these longer ones here, and they feed over. They have a sort of a recess on them. So you put that recess, or I do, put the recess on the inside. What you need to do is you need to put this little piece of plate, so it looks like this, and that slides in behind there. That holds all the cam plate and everything together. And then when you put this in that hole like that, it's going to join it all together, and it's going to protect it and keep it all strengthened up. So make sure you put that little piece in before you screw it together. Okay, so that's the 2 front ones in. So as I say, they screw through. The screw there goes into the part there, and then the 6mm screw goes into the upstand part there, and this all gets braced up. That part there. So this is it's really strong design. Let's get the 2 back ones on. Okay, so that's the back upstands on as well now. So the last thing to do would be to put the top plate on and the rear and front upstands. So I tend to do the slots towards the side cam plates. So let's get those on. Just a note, this is actually a little bumper part, and that sits on the front like so. I highly recommend putting that on. That protects the carbon fibre. So you use the M8 screws for this bit, where you screw through the bottom into the front upstands, and then I think you use the M8 on the front 2 and the 2 here, and then the rest of all the M6. Okay, so that's the front plate on now, and the bumper, 2 upstands, everything there. So before I put the back 2 on, this little 3D printed part, and that will slide just onto the back like so. And then there's 4 screws there which will line up with the screw holes, and that's where my Vista's going to mount, just through those 4 screw holes there. But it's quite a nice little design they've done. What they've got, I'll show you on the camera, is they've got these little sort of slotty bits here, and where the upstands themselves have these little slots like that, they go into the slots like so, and then you put your screws through the bottom. That kind of holds the whole thing there together. So I'll get that together and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so that's all together now. The slots are all slid in and done. So the last bit would be to start, or to put the top plate on. It's for the last bit of the build. That should just be as simple as sort of placing it onto the cam upstands. Sorry, wrong way around. And then just putting the final screws in, that puts it all together. So there you can see it, what it looks like. It's yeah, it's a really nice frame. I put them bits around the wrong way. Those 2 bits go round the opposite way, so they go into there. So I'll correct that now. Okay, so that's all built up now. It's a beautiful looking frame. And we'll build the other version, the titanium one, and then I'll start putting some components into my build. But yeah, this is the Gravity Loss Titanium Pro 2. Very nice frame. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put the lowrider version together now. This is like a kind of like a slam version, I suppose. It was exactly the same in terms of constructing it, so I didn't bother boring you with putting it together. But I will give you some specifications on it in case you're thinking about buying this version. The front part there, so the front upstand, is about 27mm, and the back upstand, I think it's about 19mm at the back there. You've got about a 2mm gap, or I'd say a 2mm sort of aluminium insert there. So you're going to have about 17mm of clear space with the stack. So if you're thinking of getting this one, I'm not sure whether you're going to use an all-in-one type ESC, or you put ESCs on the arm, just a low stack in there. But anyway, that's 17mm to work with, and you'll have to see if you can get your components that you're using in the back in there. But that was quite nice. So yeah, lovely frame again. I think I'll try and get the titanium one together now. Okay, so I've got the titanium version put together now. So it has the aluminium upstands in place of the black upstands on the front. The bumper at the front there is aluminium, and of course this one has got my name on it. So shout out to Gravity Loss for that. It's absolutely amazing. I didn't think I'd ever see the day where I had my own drone with my own name written on it. That's pretty awesome, that is. So that's the titanium version. The titanium version is slightly heavier, about 20 grams, 30 grams here, I'm not quite sure. Have a look at the specs on the Gravity Loss website. Okay, so let's get some components in there, shall we? Okay, so just wanted to show you some of the components I'm going to be using for my build. I have a Hobbywing 60M ESC, and what I've done is I put it so the XT60 is facing towards the front, and then I'm just going to wrap the cable over the top like this, and then out the side. That's how I run my other one, and then it's ready for my battery to plug in. That way, there's no sort of stress on the cable. The capacitor can go up the front there, and everything is nice and tidy for the Vista to go in the back. The Vista is I've actually modified this TPU print. I don't know if you can see this on the little tiny shoulder there, because this is the Vista, what do they call this one? Nebula Pro, and it's the Nebula Pro antenna. So the antenna is actually slightly different to the normal Vista antenna. As in the packet there, it's got a slightly wider. So I've modified this TPU. I'll probably put this on Thingiverse, and I'll put a link in the description so you guys can see this, and if you want to download it you can. That's going to slide onto the back. The camera needs to go under the ESC, and then just going to tidy up some of these wires, and that will plug into my Kiss Feed 2. For the motors, what I've done is I've got to put some heat shrink on the arms. I'm going to heat them up afterwards, so they're loose at the moment. Once it's built up, I heat them up, and I'm running some Zing motors on this one. These are 1800 kV on 6S. That way I can put this diatone race wire on the top there, so it just doesn't short out, because the solder comes out the bottom there. So I don't want that to touch the carbon fibre, so that's protect that, and then I'll either zip tie that or just a little bit tape over the top of it. But that way, if I ever break a motor, I can just change the motors over quite easily then. I actually made some TPU protectors for the motors, so I'll try and put that on Thingiverse as well. And these are actually removable. So there's a normal arm, and they just slide into the bottom like that and clip on. And you've got your 4 screws in the bottom there. So these are removable sort of motor buffers. So if the front was to hit, it will bump on the buffer there instead of breaking the actual motor. So that's a little motor protector that I made. Okay, so let's get this some of these components soldered up and see how we get on. Okay guys, so that's pretty much everything put together now. All I've got to do is fix the crossfire antenna on, tape these down, put the top plate on, and add some TPU, maybe a GoPro mount and whatnot. So I fed my strap through there, and then the top plate will go on like so, and then my other strap will go through there. So this will just come through and ready to clip onto the battery. So we're just going to get the last few bits together, and then we're going to go out and test it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe, and an even bigger thanks to Gravity Loss for the sponsorship and making me a team pilot. I'm glad to be on board. Please check out the link in the description, GRL Gravity Loss.